हेलो सर। हाँ चलो सर। Good morning. We'll be starting now. Greetings for the day. Good morning to all. It's my pleasure to meet you all through this online platform for this webinar on who should I become, and welcome you all on behalf of Saramviyati Management, Principal, and the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today, we have the speaker Kanupriya S. She is an IT professional and an entrepreneur. She primarily worked upon application facilitating the profit centers of clients' business across diverse verticals such as telecom, healthcare, and BFSI. I welcome you, Kanupriya, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Anjani. Hello, everyone. How are you? Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. So, how is everyone? I guess I can see more of the chats than listen to you guys, right? So, whatever you will type, I will consider that yes, that's the reply coming. Okay. Thank you. Acha, Anjina, can I share the PPT or how it is? I have that sharing option.
Yeah, you can share it, ma'am, from your side.
Okay, I think you are presenting, so will I get the option to share? Lavanya
Yeah, you
is
can
leaving.
share.
Um, present now. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay. So it seems that when I'm presenting, I can see the PPT or either you guys. It's just like talking to myself. Okay. No problem. Anyways, I'm very much excited for this webinar today and being in front of you all. So you all must be wondering that why I have given this topic, right? Just a second. Let me put on the slide mode. Yeah. Why this topic, right? You might be thinking because here this is a national level webinar, so mainly students are here, or either homemaker or employees or entrepreneur. So usually you might be thinking this, who should I become? This question comes when we are mainly in 10th or 12th class, right? When we are thinking of our career or future. So why this topic now? Many of you getting this question, right? The thing is that we all think of becoming something only in the context of our profession. But what I believe, what about being self, right? Yes, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me as Kanupriya. Who should I become? Correct? Okay. So, see, friends, I'm meeting you all for the first time. Okay, I know we don't know each other much. So, for the first time, I would like to share my journey with you all. Okay, And I would also love to hear from you. And so feel free to share whatever you feel and your thoughts and ask your questions at the end of the session. Okay. So to start with, I would like to share a small story with you. Okay. There was a huge statue of Buddha. Once upon a time, there was a huge statue of Buddha, which was of pure gold. Every ounce of it was of pure gold, right? So monks used to worship it religiously. Once what happened, one day some invaders attacked this place, okay, and they massacred the people and they looted the gold. Now, since this Buddha was a very religious means to these monks, so they wanted to safeguard this Buddha, golden Buddha, because they were knowing that invaders will come and take it away. So what they did to save it, they plastered it with clay and mud. Okay, so when these invaders arrived, when they saw this clay Buddha, for them it was of no value, no use. So just this left it, ignored it, and they went. Okay, so what then? Decade passed, century passed, years on years went on. These monks also, they left the world. So there was no one who knew what this clay Buddha is. Okay, and it remained as is. Okay, now after many years, centuries years later, there was one child monk, okay, who was worshipping under this Buddha, and due to exposure of bad weather, good weather, the cracks started coming in the Buddha, clay Buddha, right? So once when he was praying, he saw some cracks coming down, falling down. He was surprised, and what happened? And then he thought of investigating. Okay, how these cracks are coming? What? He just went to look for it, and when he saw those cracks, he saw some sparkling, in light coming from that. And for his surprise, when he started chiseling it to see what it is, why the spark is coming inside the clay Buddha. So when he started chiseling it, okay, the whole chunk of the clay came down, and he discovered that it's actually a pure golden Buddha, right? He was, he just jumped with some enjoyment and amusement that this is not a clay Buddha, this is a golden Buddha. Now you all must be wondering, how come this transformation, right? But the real thing is that Buddha was never a clay Buddha. It was always been a golden Buddha. Okay, and that too for 100 years. So now I'd like to share my journey. I belong to a place which is called Bokaro Steel City. How many of you are from Bokaro Steel City? I guess I can see, yeah. Anyone here? Anyone knows that place, Bokaro Steel City? Okay, so it's a small place from Jharkhand, and I studied there. And my childhood was a very happy and cheerful. Okay, my parents were government employees. You might have heard about SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. They were working there, and my childhood was very happy and cheerful. I was obedient, full of values, lively and innocent kid. And I studied from school DPS, Delhi Public School, Bokaro, since class 5. And for the first time when I went there for the interview, I had a file with thick file, okay, full of certificates. And my principal was so surprised to see that, oh my God, you have got so many certificates. Like, yes. So that was the, exciting moment when happened when I went for the interview for DPS school. And I was good in studies. I was very much interested in sports, extracurricular activities. I was good in all those. So once what happened, when I was in, say, class 7 or 8, okay, there was a kabaddi competition. Okay, in school, our houses and kids are divided into different houses. Say Ganga, Jamuna, Ravi, Chenab, Satluj, Jhelum. Okay, So there was a competition between Ganga and Jamna House. I was in Jamna House, okay, and it was a last round, and only one or two more points were needed, and hardly one or two girls were there in my team left. And in the opponent side, Ganga House, there was a thick, heavy girl who was active, and the whole spectators, the audience were relaxed. They were sure that anyways Ganga House is gonna win. It's difficult to defeat that girl. And let's say I'm standing here, and it's was my turn to go, right? And that side Ganga House, and Ganga House warden was standing. During that second of moment, he just looked into my eyes, and I looked into his eyes. His eyes was sarcastically telling me that Ganga House is gonna win. Jamna House has lost it. It was a lot of pressure on me. I was not knowing what is gonna happen, but I was only knowing that it's my turn to go. So what I did, I just took a deep breath and I went. Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. And I touched that girl and I just ran away. And you know what? We won. We jumped. We enjoyed like anything. We won. That was the unexpected win we had. And then I looked into that Ganga House warden's eyes again. And you know what? It was a furious view for me, saying, how could you do this? My house, how it lost it. And I just smiled. And we were happy. So that was like, I gained confidence, and I removed some clay from my, from my body. So now in DPS school, what we used to have, I was appointee 3-4 times in my tenure in DPS school. So appointee for us is like having school in charge, student being a school in charge at house level or the school level, like that. So life was going on, okay, right? And we always generally forget what we have, our ups or downs, or what we have achieved, or whatever confidence, or even I forget whatever certificates or the daring things or achievements I did or whatever. So the life goes normal, right? So meanwhile, the clay again started accumulating on me with time. Okay, now the class 10th came. You all know, right? Board time. So my first quarter was going very well. I was happy and content. But then, what happened? After my first quarter, I came to know that one of my class topper, he's taking maths tuition. And I was shocked. Maths tuition? Why? Because my concepts were clear. My fundamentals were clear. I was very happy with intense exam. I was not having, fear of board. I was happy with my maths. But then this question, that why is he taking tuition? Is it that something which is I am missing? Or am I too relaxed? So I became little scared. I shared this with my mom. She said, okay, Kanupriya, what you can do, there is one one aunt near in our neighbor. She takes maths class. In the sense, she will make you practice maths. You just go to her home and practice maths, and she will give you test sometimes. So do you want to do that? So I said yes. Why I said yes? Because there was a fear and there was a doubt that if the topper of the class is taking tuition, there must be something. Correct? So I also started the tuition. So life was anyways going on. So once what happened in class 10 again, we had a maths Olympiad. That was state level maths Olympiad, and it known as Chota Nagpur Mathematical Society, CMS in short. And most of the kids from school, all over state level schools, they are participating in that. From my school, some 50 plus students participated. Okay, and I was one of them. When on the day when I was sitting in that exam hall, okay, and I looked around my batchmates, you know what thought came to my mind? Why the hell, means, why are you sitting here, Kanupriya, and wasting your time? Look at your batchmates. They are blue blazers. And blue blazers in our school is like, let's say, for example, if a student gets continuously for 3 years, say 80% and above, so that person will earn blue blazer. Otherwise, everyone will have green blazer, just like this. And this is like a winter dress for us. Okay. So I was thinking, your batchmates are blue blazer. They are so studious. They are toppers. What the hell you are doing here? What's the point of giving this exam? And then my heart said, okay, relax. See, you're already here. So just give your best. Okay. And then I was like, I took a deep breath. Okay, let me give my best. I gave the exam. I solved the puzzle. Whatever math question I could solve, I solved it. And left for home. Okay. And life was anyways going as usual, go to school, come back home, go to school, come back home, go to school, come back home. It was going. The day of result came. My principal was announcing the result on the stage. She was taking out one by one, names, and there were some 10 students who were selected. She was calling Prashant, Rohit, Akshat, Shashank, Mayank, Praveer, Manish, Abhishek, Abhijit, Kanupriya. What? Kanupriya? Oh my God. My name is also there. How come? I was like happily shocked and surprised. And I went on the stage. We were awarded. Then after that, then what? Then after that, since it was a state level, there was a national level exam as well, which was known as RMS. Full form I don't remember right now. And for that, we had to, after school in the afternoon, we had to go for the coaching class, some other place. So in that afternoon, cycling, heavy sun, I used to go for the this coaching class. And when you reach, they're already tired. And when someone is to start teaching us, I used to always tell myself, this is tough. Okay, CMS somehow I cleared, but this I don't think I can. Eventually, what happened? I couldn't clear that. Okay. So, so anyways, life was, and that time, again, some more clay got deposited on me, right? Anyways, again, life was going as usual. Go to school, come back home, go to school, come back home, go to school, come back home. Again, what happened? One of my teacher approached me and she said, Kanupriya, there is a Red Cross Society outing happening and many school students are going. And from my school, I am recommending 3 students and you are one of them. So you will go, right? I said, let me ask my parents. I will inform you tomorrow, ma'am. She said, okay. I went excited and told my parents, mother, there is one Red Cross Society and I want to go for that. She said, is there any teacher going along? I said, no. Then she said, no, you can't go. Then what? I missed that opportunity. And I told my teacher, ma'am, I can't go. My parents didn't allow. So anyways, board exam got over, 10th board exam got over, got cleared, took admission in the same school again. 11th, another milestone, 11th and 12th. you might can relate such a huge difference from going from 10th to 11th. Okay, so I took PCM, physics, chemistry, maths with economics, and it was an journey was going amazing, and so it was like a huge jump from class 10 to 11. So going on, once what happened in class 11th, we usually have this one again, as I mentioned, that in school we had the we get appointed as an appointee. Since it was our last 2 years in the school, they those students can become a head girl or a head boy. So there was again appointee interview for becoming a head girl. So every house warden will select their best students, and luckily I was one of them. My warden also selected me, nominated my name for the head girl. I filled the form. Now on the day of interview, okay, I was little unwell. So when I went for the interview, my principal asked me few questions, and you know what? She picked up the incident, one-year-old incident, and you might have guessed what was that. Yes, it was Red Cross Society incident. You know, she asked me, "Why didn't you go?" I said, "My parents said no." Then she started giving me left, right, center, and she said, "When you know you're doing it right, when you know you're grown up, can't you make your parents understand? Can't you convince your parents for that? What steps did you take to make your parents agree?" And I had no answer. She asked few more questions, and then the interview got over. After the interview, I just asked feedback from my house warden, that how was the interview? What happened? What do you think? Okay, just a second. I'm still audible, right? Or should I put a headphone? Voice is clear?
Yeah, you are audible, Kanu.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So I asked for the feedback. My house warden said, he gave me few points, and then he mentioned your body language was not good. It was down. I was like, body language? What is this body language? For me, it was new. I couldn't understand what is this body language. I asked him, what is body language? And he said something, but believe me, I didn't relate to it. What is this body language? Because I was, at tender age. I was not knowing. Anyways, again, life was going on. Class 11, 12 was happening, its own uh, experiences of class 11th and 12th. So we had physics class. For me, physics and maths both were fun. Why? I used to love, enjoy doing that. Why? Because I was lucky to have such teachers in my life who who made my physics and maths fundamentals very clear, and the concepts were clear. So when your basics and foundations are clear, you grow on top of it. So it was fun for me. I used to love, enjoy doing that. But chemistry, it was a horror for me. This organic chemistry, I don't know why that used to never get into my head. I whatever thing I do to remember this, or how many tuitions I have not taken. I'm like, so many tuitions I have taken, but of all wasted, because I could never get this into my head at all. I remember I was only 1 month was left for boards, and there was preparatory leave going on. And I was literally, the book was in my hand, and I was crying. What to do? I'm not getting this. What if I fail? But then no one else can help me other than me. I just hold myself and I said, Kanu, you have to do this. Whether you cry, you shake, you frown, do whatever it is, you have to do this. You don't have any other choice. You can't run away from chemistry. Again, I took a deep breath. And then whatever was in my hand, I did that. I studied. If it has to mug, I mug. It has to understand, I understood whatever. Even though I'm crying, whatever, but I have to do it. I have no other choice. Finally, board given. Luckily, I got good marks. Not very high marks, but I got good marks. And it was good. Next what? Next, you all know, right? College, which we all wait for. So I gave my COMEDK exam, got good rank, and got admission to this beautiful college of Sir MVIT, where I enjoyed my beautiful days of my life along with my school. And it has its own learning phase of my life in this college, especially the friends I made, the teachers I made, till date we are in touch. And it was beautiful. Maybe some other time I can go into the more detail. So, but no, this college I got admission. And as I told you, I was a person, the child which I was till class 12th, okay? We were, there was parents will be there to protect us. And we were in a, as I said, I was innocent, obedient kid. So the outside world, how it is, I had not seen much. I used to always get scared of the outside world because I used to think that people are mean. So how will I survive in that outside world? It's difficult for me. How to tackle them, or because I used to think myself very gullible. So, but still, for higher education, we have to come. I left my parents, I left my state, I came, and that time, connectivity was also less. Internet was coming up, but still it was less. I still remember the phone charges were still very high. Okay, so coming away from those places, far off, Bangalore was really far off. Seems to be very far off that time. I came to Bangalore. It was all new environment for me, and I was a little scared. Okay, because here I am all alone. I don't have any relatives also here, so I am the only one who have to take care of myself, right? So what I did, I got a protective shield. I created a protective shield around me, and no one else was allowed to enter here. Correct. So in my college, it was a new environment. I had my own ups and downs. Okay. I had my heart broken. I had my trust broken. Correct. So because I was, all alone there. So there was a time when my trust was totally broken, multiple times, or because we get exposed to many different kind of people, different behavior. So I stopped trusting people. I somewhere became very hard in emotions from inside. If someone is saying something to me, emotional thing, let's say, I couldn't feel inside much. And my heart within used to tell me, Kanu, why are you not feeling anything? It was getting into my head, but it was not coming in. So I stopped trusting people, and it continued for few years. Then one day, one of my friend who was knowing all these things, and while going back, he just said that, Kanu, you have to trust people. You have to face them. You don't have any other choice. And I know you might be thinking that this is nothing new, right? Whatever he said, but the way he said, okay, and or maybe the point when he said it, it gave me a feeling that yes, I have to accept. I can't keep running, or I can't keep saying myself, I don't trust people, I don't trust people, I don't trust people, and no, keep running away. I can't do that. I have to accept that I have to stay in this world. I have to accept that I have to face them because I am part of this world. So when that acceptance happened, I tried to change myself. I told my brain started telling, Kanu, you have to face it. Kanu, you have to start trusting people. Correct. And then slowly, I started. Anyways, college life was full of fun. I know first year to fourth year, different situations, ragging. I was a hostel light, so I. It was people who are staying in hostel. They can realize what kind of hostel life it will be. It was so much fun. Not to say, but bunking classes also. I know it is not right to say, but these all are its own memories, right? Uh, so in a hostel, what used to happen? We all girls get along, talk, chit chat, and Maggie was our favorite dish. Mess food will be always be horrible. We'll be complaining, fighting with wardens, and then always look for Maggie. First thing in the hostel is to get a kettle, correct? And get your Maggie, eat Maggie. Whenever there is the birthday of anyone, always look for where to how well to give that birthday bumps. Correct. Some girls used to be pulled in the mud or water, or if and there is a hostel life, right? So at least 2 or 3 girls will be staying together. If any girl who has its birthday, her roommates also have to take bath at night. That will be the situation. It was so much fun, in the hostel life, going around, roaming around, and especially that night time chai, exam time especially. I remember 10:30 at the night, the chai used to come, tea, okay, and we used to wait badly for that because for another 4 or 5 hours we have to stay and study because tomorrow is exams. So it was all fun. Until date, I remember those. So guys have lot of fun during a hostel life and college life. Okay. So anyways, there was a campus placement also. I got placed in one of the top MNCs in my first interview in the first company which came. I got placed. Okay, I was very happy, and college got over, and we cleared with good marks and all, and we were waiting for, because we got an offer letter. Okay, we didn't get a joining letter then. I was placed in Cognizant. My friends who were in Infosys or something, they got joining there, but maximum of the students haven't got their joining. Because why? Because they had a recession. I am a 2009 pass out student, and 2008 you might be knowing there was a huge recession, and it effects were there for another few years. And I was our batch, a few of my friends were part of that effect. Okay, so we had the joining letter in our hand. Sorry, we had the offer letter in our hand, but there was no joining letter. What to do next? Okay, let's go back home, have some family time. But back of the mind, there was also a question: when I'll be getting the joining letter? What should I do next? Should I look somewhere else? That thoughts will come. And Cognizant company had taken our mail IDs and all, and some random mails used to generally come. Okay, this is what company has done, this is the achievement, like that. So I used to look for those mails. One day, after 6 months, I received a mail. I think it was in the month of October or something, or November. I received a mail saying there will be a technical exam of some 6-7 subjects. This is the online tutorial. Go through it, give the technical exam. If you clear it, then we will give you joining letter. So again, there was an exam. I came back to Bangalore. I studied. I gave exam also. God knows what was the result. We just gave our exams. And you all might be knowing this online questions most of the times, you don't know, right? So we gave the exams and I waited what will happen, because there was like no option to contact them. We have to just wait. I waited. A few of my friends we started getting joining letter from, we both gave exam at the same time, and they got joining letter before me, and I don't know what to do. Correct? You don't know whom to ask. You can understand there will be multiple thoughts coming in, but other than wait, I had no other option, because I was waiting to join Cognizant. It was such a big MNC, known MNC. And then after a month, I got my joining letter. I was so excited. 14 December 2009. That was my first joining date in Cognizant. I remember when I was entering the tech park, I was like looking around. Wow, such a nice buildings. What a construction. So beautiful offices. So nice building. So much, so techy. And I was sitting there in the reception. All new kids, all new faces. We're always sitting, little nervous, more happy. And like wondering what will happen next, We were waiting for our receptionist to call us and tell us what is next. It was such a great feeling. It was just like dream come true. And then work started, training started, things were going on. Okay, finally, which everyone waits for, right? First salary. I got my first salary and I was like very happy. First salary, finally I earned it for my whole life. What I was studying for, I was going through all these schools and college and all whatever. Finally, this salary, I got it. I'm earning now. I'm independent. It was a great feeling. Okay. And as everyone does, right? When they get the first salary, what thought comes? Okay, let me buy something for my family, my parents, my brother. I wanted to buy. I bought. Okay, and gifted them. Then second, third salary, fourth salary, I started earning, right? So when I earned, then expenses done, saving done, bought gifts for parents, and was enjoying my life. I was thinking, this money which I'm earning, what to do with this money now? No one taught me. The question came in my mind. This is the medium for everything in my life, or I've seen my parents. This is a medium for so many things. But what to do with this money? No one taught me. Okay, let it be. Because there will be multiple thoughts coming, right? But then you move on in your life. You just be casual, enjoy. Okay. So that thought came and I moved on. But then later on I realized, you might be knowing, right? What is this? Pythagoras theorem, right? And what is this? Sine theta, cos theta. You guys remember? Correct? So tell me, how many of you are using this? Anyone? Using this right now? Yes. We all know Pythagoras theorem, we all know calculus, we all know sine theta, cos theta. But are we actually using this in our practical life? That's my question. How many of you are using this in your practical life now? And I'm sure none of you, or maybe very, very hardly few. Okay. So that I realized that in my 15, 16 years of education, I learned things which I am not exactly using them in my life. And for what, for what I studied these many years, to get a job, to get my livelihood, to earn money. But why I didn't have any subject or topic called money in my education? I had this question, but no answer. I felt the need of financial literacy in my life. But whom to ask? Because even this we don't know. What to do with my money, how to manage my money, how to invest, how to manage is a very important skills which I was lacking then. And I was left with those questions. Anyways. Guys, you know what is this? A bulb, right? Who invented this bulb? Thomas Edison, right? But you know what? He was not the first inventor who invented this bulb. There were many. But what Thomas Edison did, he invented the first useful bulb. He invented the first bulb which had commercial value. And you know what? He is the founder of General Electric. While reading about this, I understood, why this financial literacy is important in our life. Because ultimately in our life, we all deal with finances, right? Okay. So let's move ahead. I was like, I was working and
Kanu, can you please share your PPT?
it is already shared.
No, it is not visible.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I don't know how it stopped, but till where you guys saw?
I think first two slides.
This you saw?
Yeah, beginning now it is not visible.
But it's showing me sharing.
But it is not visible.
Just a second. Let me try again.
ಅದೇನ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ
ಅದೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I hope till now I'm clear. Till this slide. I need to hear. Okay, I am seeing the chat. Okay. Because I can't see the chat and PPT at the same time. Okay. Anyways, I saw some of chat and I got to know that you guys can see my screen. So I'm moving ahead. Okay. So this was the initial experience in my corporate. Okay. And life was going on. I was going to job, coming back home. I was going to job, coming back home. I was going to job and coming back home. And I totally had my 10 years of experience of my corporate. And along with Cognizant, I worked with Brilio, Sonata, like maximum 3 companies I worked in my tenure. And I had a great experience working there. But when I was at 5 years of experience, okay, 5 years experience was a good experience, right? And whatever was going in my life, once I was just sitting and pondering that, Tanu, you have 5 years of experience. What next now? Where you want to take your life? Because till now what was happening, school parents decide, college also it happens, you just, because you take science, you give exams, college also happens, job also gets placed, you start working, whatever work I'm getting, I'm doing. So the life was going as I was going, as life was taking me, right? But that time I was just thinking like, Kanu, what next? What do you want in your life? What do you want to do? And then I thought, okay, MBA. Let me go for my higher studies, right? MS I can't go because that usually takes lot of money, from doing it from outside, and my parents were not having so much money, and I also can't think of taking loans and going there. So I thought, okay, let's go for MBA. I can go, I know, higher studies, I can do MBA. My roommate, she said, why don't you try civil services? I was like, civil services? Yeah, there's a lot to study in that. I can't do it. Then she said, give a try, big deal. I said, okay, you are telling me, I'll keep this as an option. What's the point? Like, what a big deal in keeping this as an option? I'll keep it. Okay, chalo, MBA, civil services. And let's say, next what should I do next? Then I thought, okay, you have a 5 years of experience, and generally with good experience, one can become business analyst also. And let me tell you, I was a .NET developer, okay, a full stack .NET developer, and development, coding and all I used to do. Then I thought, okay, I can become a business analyst with experience. Even though I don't take MBA, I can still become a business analyst internally within the company. So I thought, okay, let me keep this as also an option. Okay. So when these 3 options were decided, then suddenly some inner voice came. And believe me, whatever the conversation happened, it happened same line by line. Okay. So that inner voice told me, well, Kanu, you have 3 options now. You can choose whatever you want. But tell me one thing. What you will do after pursuing any of these? I said, I'll go back to job. Because that's the only thing I knew, right? And then my inner voice said, do you really want so? And I was like, no. Again, inner voice. Then what are you doing for that? And believe me, I was speechless. I had no answer to this. What I'm planning, I had no answer. But let me tell you, that was my calling. That was my defining moment. That was my calling, that what I am doing here now. I am doing things which ultimately I'm not enjoying doing it. I'm doing, means life, either life is controlling me or I'm controlling my life. Whatever is happening to me is just a flow, what is happening, or I know, okay, where I have to go. Those were my callings. That what I am doing for the things which I want to do. But believe me, my friends, my job was awesome. I was happy. I'll tell you what I got from my job. Yes, it shaped my career. It gave me an identity. when you see your card, your name, your job ID, employee ID, it gave me an identity. It gave, when I, when you get your business card to say, yes, this is me, I was happy. Most important, I got a great corporate experience. Believe me, it teaches a lot. It makes you more strong. It teaches the kind of people we meet, the exposure, everything. It gave me a good corporate experience. I worked with US clients, UK clients, all projects which I had in my 10 years of experience. All I was working for the foreign clients. Even I visited on site. Correct. So knowing the outside world, even I had traveled many places internationally, domestic. It gave me exposure. I'm thankful to my corporate experience. Yes, I was happy with my work. Okay, I was happy the .NET developer profile which I got, because it was a very a good future with that. I was happy what I was doing. I was loving to develop, doing development. And also I was aspired to become my manager as I grew up the ladder, because you always see, right, okay, with these many peers, what do you want to do ahead, whether you want to become a manager or architect and all like that. At our time, I wanted to become a manager, taking care of my team, handling them, guiding them. I aspired to that. Yes, I had, even till date I have my valid H1B visa, and I had the option to work in US for long term. And yes, I was earning well. I had no dependency of anyone. Whatever I was earning I was the only one who will be using it. My parents were, well to do. My brother was well to do. So I was earning well. I was enjoying my life. And the best part, I was enjoying being independent. Right? And last but not the least, I gained few friends for life. Wherever I worked, I gained few friends for life. Okay. But then you all must be wondering, why was I slowly moving away from my job mentally? Right? Because I was becoming fearful. What my manager is thinking of me? What if I lose my job? What if I don't get job? I was losing myself. I missed being Kanupriya, who was lively, jolly, who somewhere was getting lost in this rat race. I was losing my self-confidence, because once you go up the experience, as many of experience get added to you, as you get good position in the corporate or anywhere you work, you go up the ladder, making mistakes wasn't acceptable. I have to be perfect in all my work. With the experience and work, I was getting less time for myself or my family. Earlier I used to travel quite often to my place, but then became limited. Whatever time I was giving to myself, that became limited. And ultimately, whatever my years of experience was there, my work experience and my savings, they weren't equivalent at all. My year of experience was increasing, but my savings, God knows what it was. Correct. And believe me, it's nothing like I was not saving. I was saving, I was investing, I was doing my expenses also, I was living my life good. But don't know, when I see my bank balance, it wasn't equivalent to my corporate experience. Correct. And then also the question came, whether I'm surviving or I'm living. Because with my that say 30 years of my life journey, I had seen the time when 100 rupees amount had a big value. I remember when I was a kid, no, in 11th standard, yes. With that 100 rupees, I went to shop the whole world, right? I It was like such a big amount for me, and I shopped and I brought something, not many things I bought, and I was showing my mom. Mom, see, so many things I bought from that 100 rupees. But now, when I'm working now at that 2000 say 14-15 year, that 100 rupees value is now somewhere equivalent to 500, or maybe now it's 1000 rupees. So much the inflation has come, so much the value of money has gone down. But am I earning in that way? I am living my life properly. I am doing whatever expenses I can do for myself, for my family. But then when I get exposure to any things, let's say earlier I was traveling in sleeper, okay? I used to go to college, or maybe from college to home, or initially during job time, by train. I was happy going in sleeper because that was my exposure. In sleeper train, I mean, that was my exposure. I was happy. But then one of my friends said, "We'll go in third AC." I was like, "Why to go in third AC? It is so closed. It's AC. In sleeper, it will be like, windy. You can enjoy it." But said, "No, we'll go in third AC." I'm like, "Okay, let's go." I booked. I got an exposure of third AC. What happened? Obviously, sleeper and third AC expense will be different, right? But when I got the exposure of third AC, I understand its importance. Sorry. I understood its need. And thereafter, I always took third AC. And now, when we see third AC, it looks like a sleeper. When I got exposure to second, when I saw first class, second AC, now I feel like traveling to second AC or first AC, first class AC. Why? Believe me, when people say, right, what's the problem of today's world? Because human being is not satisfied. People earlier time, they were satisfied. Believe me, it's not about the satisfaction. It's about the exposure. You can take any example. I'm sure you guys can relate to many examples in your life. Okay. Since I am bound of time, I'm not giving much examples here, but you can understand, when we get exposure to more better things, we would like to have it. Because sometimes, everything is not our want. Most of the things is our need also. Having a good spacious house, having a good safe vehicle, or even having a smartphone right now, or maybe having a laptop or iPad. These are not wants. These are the needs of the today. Though it costs money, because everything in this world costs money, correct? But it's the need. And it's not that about whether I'm satisfied or not. It's about my affordability. If once I get exposed, when things are of my need, it's based on the affordability, we get that. It's not about whether I'm satisfied or that or not. And also, I wanted to make myself to a situation where I can be with my parents. I can keep parents with me. I don't have to think of my bank balance. I don't have to think that, okay, right now I'm taking care of myself, one person, and two, my parents will be there. How will I afford it? I wanted to increase my affordability. Okay. That was my question there. That am I really surviving or just living? Oh, sorry, just surviving or living. Next thing was, I realized that there is no security. Job security is just a myth. I had faced recession in 2008. I was listening that 2016 again a big recession is gonna come. I was depending on my monthly paycheck every month, every month, every month. I had a time when at the end of the month I had hardly any amount left. So I was every time dependent on my monthly paycheck. If it's not there, what will I do? You know, this laptop which I'm talking on right now, I bought this with my hard-earned money. And to buy this also, I remember actually I went to buy some laptop and my budget was 45. Okay. And when I went there, I came to know that a new laptop is coming. It's a Dell laptop XPS. A new laptop is coming and it will take another 1 week. And that cost is 50,000, 50 to 52,000, like that. And I was not having that money also. But I wanted that. What I did, I saved my every single penny that month. I remember I was having only 48 rupees in my account and I couldn't spend that. I was saving for my for my laptop. Finally, I bought it. I saved and bought it. Then I realized I'm so much dependent on my monthly paycheck. What if I stop working one day? What if something happens to me? What will happen to my monthly paycheck then? No answer. So these were the things which was hitting me inside. I know these things will not be seen outside to anyone, but then these things hit based on what you experience in life or what you experience in your surrounding. And it's all personal, like, based on individual. These are my experiences. Okay. So because being a kind of person I am, or the kind of life I wanted for myself, is that I want to be free. Okay. I want to have both money and time to do what I want to do, when I want to do, and the way I want to do. Okay. So that was my calling. I wanted my life back. I wanted my control over my life back, because till date I was living a life which was going in a flow. But now I wanted to decide where I want to take my life. And I'm very much thankful to my corporate, because ultimately, having a corporate experience, I realized what actually I want in my life. I realized what I am, what I want to become, which that realization was I never had. So I wanted my life back. I wanted my Kanupriya back, and I started exploring. And that was again, that moment was my calling. And I became a looker, because this time I wanted to take charge of my life. Okay. So near my office, okay, there was a crossword, and one of my friend, colleague friend, he was, his fable was there, and I just wanted to gift him. So in such a short notice, I just thought, okay, let me go and buy some book for him. Believe me, friends, I'm not a book founder. I'm not a reader at all. But then I thought, okay, he might be liking it, and crossword is nearby. Let me just go and buy something. I asked few of my friends, which one is a nice book? Please suggest me, because crossword, it's very difficult to search books here, and I have no knowledge of books, because I was mainly interested in sports, right? So I asked someone, which is a nice book, which book should I buy? So my friend texted me, okay, you can buy this and give to him. Like, okay, I bought that book, and I took that book, and I was waiting at the billing counter. So billing counter was having some issue. The billing was getting delayed. Then I said, okay, ma'am, you do the billing. Meanwhile, I'll just roam around and come. So since I was not interested I was not a keen reader, right? So I was just looking at the book section names, the color of books, the pictures over books. Okay. I just not loitering around. Suddenly one person came. Person came to me and asked, do you know this book? I said, no. Have you? He said, have you read it? I said, no. And he said, just a suggestion. If you want, you can go and read this book. Buy this book and read it. I just looked at the book. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The name of the book by Robert Kiyosaki. I was like, what is this? Why he's telling me to read? But then, as you know, I had a very casual, happy-go-lucky attitude. Like, okay, let me buy, big deal. Let me buy this book also. Hardly some 200, 300 bucks, right? Let me buy. So I just bought it, okay. Anyways, life was going on, and then I just looked around. Okay, flippering. What is this book I was reading? Slowly, because I was never a keen reader. Okay, I remember I hardly read books of Chetan Bhagat or some Reader Digest. Only some gossip wala. And though I'm not a gossip person, but no, some masala wala books, Chetan Bhagat books I have read, and some magazines, some Reader Digest, and that too. I remember Chetan Bhagat's Revolution 2020. I finished in 2 weeks. That too, where my friends finished that in 4 hours. So I was such a so much interested in reading. Anyways, when I was reading this book, I was like, okay, what is this? Slowly, I start getting deep into this book. And this book, was really an eye opener for me. I said, right, remember, I was exploring, I was a looker. This book, after reading this book, I found that somewhere I am on that process. That hunger to get something, to look for something. I think I can see my food. Because after reading this book, you know what I learned? I learned the importance of financial literacy. The question which came initially when I earned my few salaries. This book made me realize what is financial independence. This book taught me, how to build wealth through investing in assets. This book taught me the difference between liabilities and assets. This book told me the importance of starting and owning own business. This book told me about importance of increasing one's financial intelligence. And then, as you say, what you seek, you get. Finally, I started off my own. I started my own venture. I started my own business. And as it's said, rest is all history. Correct? It's been 5 years. I am building my own business. And the things which I got from my business are these. I got myself. I got that liveliness, that confidence, and I'm very happy. In short, I got back Kanupriya. I became more fearless. I have now that ready to do anything attitude. I overcome my personal fear, my doubts, my lack of confidence, and I also got overcome the fear of my rejections. I got ready to face everything. Remember I told you I had fear, I was not confident to face the world because I used to think that this world doesn't mean I don't belong to this world. World didn't change, people didn't change, but I changed. I learned how to tackle them. Correct? Then I got to believe in myself. Remember, we all look for dependency on others. Correct? If we have to decide anything in our life, we always seek help from others only. If others say yes, it's yes. If others say no, it's no. But then I learned to believe in myself that yes, whatever I want, I can achieve. I became a decision maker in my life. I am the youngest person in my family. Okay. So for every decision I have to look up and I have to always think, I don't know anything. I can't decide better. So whatever they say, I will do. But this business taught me how to be a decision maker. Okay. I became optimistic. Now I want to explain here why I'm mentioning here optimistic. Believe me, I was optimistic person before also. As I said, because I was lively, happy kid, right? I was optimistic. And I had got all good life, freedom life with full of values. Okay. So what was the difference? You all can understand it's a human mind, correct? So by default, if anything happens, whether it's good or bad, the first thought which comes to your mind will be negative. If let's say some stranger smiles at you, you'll be like, why are you smiling at me? Is something wrong? Right? So whatever happens, the first thought which comes is negative. So in my life also happened that I was all optimistic. But let's say if I was 60% optimistic, I was 40% negative also, because it's a human tendency to get negative first in the mind. So what I did, I started working on myself, that I have to increase my optimism more and reduce my negativity. Even though it's natural to get negative inside the head, but it's my control, I have to take charge of my life. It's in my control that whether my mind will control me or I will control my mind. Correct? So if the negative is coming, I will control my mind and say, you shut up, get lost. That was my learning. And what I did till date, I am, let's say, 99% optimistic, say 1% negative. But I have to reach to a place where that negative thought can also not enter. Even it's very natural, I will not let that enter my mind. I have to work on that, becoming more than 100% optimistic. So I'm working on that. I learned time management skills. I remember whenever there was a when that 5 years experience, when technical there will be a learning and development courses happening in corporate, right? So there will be technical courses also, there will be behavioral courses also. So I used to look for behavioral courses, because I used to always wonder how to manage time. I couldn't manage, even though I was doing nothing, but I don't know why I used to feel that I'm so busy. My 24 hours to go just like that. But God gave me the best way to teach me time management, practical way. Because theoretically I couldn't understand. Practically, when I'm doing it, I have so many things on my plate now, but still I am able to manage my time well. Still, that 24 hours, I understood that, just like money, we have 1440 seconds in our hand every day, which and next day there'll be again 1440 seconds, new 40 seconds. So how to utilize every second, every hour, every minute, every day in those 24 hours, it's in my hand. So my productivity increased. I started managing my time much better now. I learned money management skills. I learned, okay, how to manage my money, how to manage my, how to do my investments, or exactly that, okay, investments also, whether it's in the form of liabilities or assets, those things I started learning now. I became organized. Organized, as you mean that in my this 24 hours, okay, what I am doing, am I planning my day or not? Am I having my to-do list ready beforehand or not? Am I doing the things which is in the priority or not? Priority. I know. Anyways, so even in this lockdown, right? I know many people will be getting lethargic and sleeping till late hours, and getting ready for college or school in their home dress only. But what I decided, even if it's lockdown, okay, I will get up on time. I will not change my time of getting up. I will not change my time of sleeping, and I will plan my every day. From whether it's my work or my family or my self responsibility, I will keep it organized, and I will know what I'm doing at 11 o'clock in the morning or 4 p.m. in the evening. I should know. So in that way, I became more organized. I got an attitude of success, because I got that belief that I can do anything, whatever I want. So believe me, my friends, attitude and gratitude is the two things which will take you up. Obviously, action does matters. I got a leadership skills. Because what I was earlier, do your work, go. Everything is done. Then I realized that until and unless I don't take a ownership of myself, I don't take the ownership of my team, things is not gonna work. Even though my parents are not dependent on me, even though no one is dependent on me, but I have to take my leadership. I have to be a leader. I should not be a follower always, or I should not be on the back seat always. I have to take responsibility of my things. So I became more responsible. I started taking ownership, though it's not needed, but it taught me. Here I learned that whatever you like, whether it's professional or personal or your own human, like own body, doing exercise, doing keeping your health right, doing what is needed, like what is required, it's all ownership. Okay. My communication skills became better. Now you must be thinking how. I agree that since childhood I was into sports, or I was into extracurricular activities, my communication, and I studied from DPA, so my communication must be better. And she was working in MNC's client projects, so her communication must be better. What new she learned? You know, those communications were better. But within inside me, I was knowing how I prepare myself to face it. I know where I fumble. I know where do I make mistakes. Talking in front of the huge crowd, it's not easy. Talking in front without seeing you guys, because when I'm seeing my PPT, it's not easy. It's like talking to self. So in communication skills, you get that confidence also to face, stand on the stage and talk to everyone. Correct. So I learned my communication skills. I also learned people skill. As I said, there are various kinds of people around, right? We think only HR has to manage people, but believe me, whether it's personal or professional life, anything, we all have to deal with people around us, and we should know how to deal with them, how to tackle them, how to talk to them. Even with parents, let's say they do some I'm taking my parents example because they mean a lot to me, and you all can relate to it, right? So let's say when we are very close to our parents, and we are very free to them, we just randomly speak anything to them, but we should also think that they also can feel anything, they also can feel hurt. We should be courteous to them also. How to how to if you want to explain someone, if they're doing something wrong or not right, or maybe to direct someone how to do things, how I should say them. These all skills I learned. Even I am a very straightforward person. Okay, I can't sugarcoat things, but then I have to learn that how well I should put my words, in what way I should put my words, so that my points are clear and I'm not hurting also anyone. So these things I learned. Again, goal setting approach. In my corporate, it was like, we always have to do our yearly goal settings, but I used to never understand that. My manager used to do that, and then we used to do done over. But when I'm practically doing it, okay, now when I'm setting the goal of my life, I understood how difficult it is to do the goal settings. And then I realized, if I want to achieve something in my life, I have to divide them into months, weeks, days, even hours. And that's why I make my to-do list every day. I make my goal every day. Okay, what today I want to achieve, what this week I want to achieve. And that helps me to take where I want to go, whether to see whether I'm on track or not. I remember when in college we used to have our external exams. You all must be knowing that we all read at the last moment, right? That this preparation 10 days leave. I used to, let's say, take some subject, let's say computer networks. Okay, such a thick book, and to finish that I have to finish that in this preparatively because my exams are there. Then we used to plan, okay, what I have to do. In hostel we can't study. Okay, I have to go to library and study. Used to go to library, then make a my deadline for myself. If I have to finish this in 10 days, these many pages have to be finished in today. I remember that time also I used to do that. But then why not now? Because that time, library was there. No one except me, no one else was there in my life. Food will be available in canteen. Everything will be there. So my work is just to study, and I was doing it. I was successfully finishing on my deadlines on time. But now, when I have moved, in further phases of my life, where I have my family, I'm married, I have my work, I have my personal life, I have my health. So with so many responsibilities, I can't run away from these responsibilities because these are my priorities. These are not like options. So with these many responsibilities to be performed in a day, in every day, every moment, how do I form my goals? How do I form my deadlines and work for it? That thing I learned. And believe me, I got an unbelievable mindset, a better thought process. Because whatever I am right now, whatever you can see, whatever I'm talking, it's all my mindset which I'm talking. This was not there earlier. And then I understood the importance of mindset. We all see our external injuries, right? Or maybe if something happens to us, we see, okay, our kidney is not working, our heart is not working, or something is not working. But no one realized that there's something called fear, which is not seen. Even if you can find some people making fun, hey, what this person is saying, yeah, such responses. No one will help you in that way over your thought. But then I realized this is a thing which make me stand or make me see what I am in front of everyone. This is the thing which make me lead my life. This is the thing through which I control myself, my body get control. So whatever is happening in my mind, so in my life, whatever I'm seeking, whatever I'm attracting, it's all goes what is going here. So believe me, my friend, don't take this so lightly. Okay? And ultimately, I became more mature personally and professionally. Okay. So, one second. Okay. So the thing is that I am working on myself every day. Okay. I want to become a better version of my day I want to shape myself every day. So what I do, I keep chiseling myself because I have to become more better, more better, more better. Because still, as I said about the golden Buddha, the clay Buddha, I have also clays deposited on me. I have to chisel every clay out of my body because I know within me also I have a golden Buddha. Within you also you have a golden Buddha. It's just that we have to keep chiseling ourselves. Correct? So I have taken control of my life. I keep chiseling myself. I keep working on how to become more better and how to, even if there is 1% of clay also left on me, I will keep removing it because till date, until I'm alive, I will keep working on becoming the more better version of myself. So are you guys in your comfort zone now? Are you a coal now? if you really want to achieve your dreams, if you really want to become a shiny diamond, you have to come out of your comfort zone. You have to go through the heat that a shining diamond needs to go. Sorry, a coal needs to go to become a shining diamond. And to become what you want, to achieve your dreams, you have to do what is required and not what you want. Okay. So there is a golden Buddha in all of us, which is pure, sparkling, and magnificent. Have you concealed it with a layer of fear, guilt, and doubt? Have you covered it with negative thinking? Have you covered it with a poor self-image of yourself? If yes, then it's waiting for you to remove the layers of clay you have plastered on it over the years. And I am doing that. And I will be keep doing that. So I don't expect every one of you to take decision today and work on it. But out of whatever crowd is there right now, even if 5 people, even if there are some 5 people who decide, do, and achieve to do whatever they want to have in their life, I think my work will be done. Now you have to decide, are you in those 5 or not? Are you? If yes, then what do you have to do? You just have to take some learning from here and implement one small change in your life, which you want, the change which you want to bring in yourself, which you think that yes, by this it will remove the clay from me and I'll become, some part of gold will be revealed out. This will change me. This will change me for better. That one small change is needed. And if you, if you do that small change, my work will be done. My purpose of this webinar will be done. Believe me, whatever I am today, whatever shape you can see me today, I am grateful to my mentors, my teachers, my professors, my books, my situations in life, my circumstances, and everyone with whom I have worked. So no one except me will decide who I am and who should I become. So friends, let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, let go of the guilt, let go of the mistakes you made in the past, let go of the experiences that have conditioned you, let go of the clay, let go and shine. Thank you. Any questions?
Participants, any questions you can ask. Okay. I would like to take this opportunity to thank student speaker Kanupriya for the wonderful and informative session. In her busy schedule, she accepted my invitation and shared her vast experience through this webinar and motivated everyone to enhance their life by growing mentally and financially. I thank the management for the encouragement and thank the principal and HOD for the constant support. And also I extend my warm thanks to all the participants who made this event grand successful. Once again, thank you all. Thank you, Kanu.
Thank you so much, Kausar. And I thank every one of you. Thank you. Well, this is my email address and LinkedIn and Facebook URL where you can reach out to me. And whenever you feel any need to contact me to help you in any way, I'm just a text away. And I'll be very helpful to help you out. Thank you. And believe me, there might be a thing that you might not be able to get any questions now, but later on, if I get any questions from you all, even if I might take time, but I will reply to each and every questions back. So feel free to contact me anytime. Thank you.
Could you please share your email on chat box, please?
Okay, just a second.
So after getting
I'm sharing here on chat, and if needed, you can take help from Kausar also. She can provide whatever needed information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Kanu, shall we end the meeting?
As you said.
See, any questions, any queries, you can send me the mail.
Yeah, I'll let you know, Kausar, if I get any questions from anyone. Thank you so much. Shall we end it? Shall I? Okay. See you. Bye-bye.